Sometimes I overestimate. So.
Work, and we just cannot always keep an hold on it. So I totally understand that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hi, Jess. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Thank you all, by the way, for working with Michelle to get everything set up and in. She is getting, if you haven't already gotten access, she's getting your access set up. I do have to work on the text now because text now is not always friendly with other countries. So I will get to that a little bit later today to make sure you get a text now number that you can use. We're going to go over in more detail the tools and everything, but are you guys familiar with Text Now or other apps like that you can use your phone, like get a second number to your phone or your computer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I generally use WhatsApp or Telegram in general, but Text Now is okay. If this is something I need to download,
okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. So it is an app to download. In some countries, it's not friendly with all of the systems and rules and regulations. And so in some countries, it can't be an app, but everybody has been able to use like the desktop version of it. So everybody's had at least some ability to use it. And what it does is it allows you to communicate with our clients using a number that's local to our company here in New York. And as far as the quality of sound and everything, it ends up being great. It's a free app at this level, the level that we're using it at. And we were just testing it out and ended up sticking with it. But the catch is like you become at danger of losing your number if you don't use it. And so we always teach and or recommend that like once a week, text somebody using it. In theory, while you're working on a project, you can use it often, and so that won't be a problem. But like right now during training, you might not be using that number for anything in particular. So you can always just shoot a text message to myself or Michelle or something like that just to kind of keep it active. So, yeah, so I'll get that set up.
Okay.
I just downloaded it, and it looks like it's going to work. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, and it is really user-friendly, and it does, we definitely, each client likes to be contacted certain ways, and very few of them are like, oh yeah, email's the best way to reach me. And I don't know why exactly, because email's my favorite way to be contacted. But like, oh yeah, just send me an email with all the details. I'll go over it later. That's great. But a lot of times our clients, like in the first meeting with the clients, will be like, oh, hey, like I'm going to be your project manager, yada, 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 just so I know how to best communicate with you. Do you prefer email? Do you prefer texting? Do you prefer calling? And that way we have kind of their thing. I have several clients that we've worked with who've said, it's cool if you send me all the details in an email, but when you do that, just send me a text and let me know. Like we're like, yeah, I'll check my email, but if you let me know that there's an email there, I'll definitely get to it sooner, that sort of thing. So, okay, let me just check in with Cecilia and see if she is joining us. I did give late notice on the invitation, so if she didn't get that, it's possible.
I think she's here.
Oh, there you are. Did that just happen, or did I just miss it earlier?
No, I just joined in.
Oh, okay. Perfect. How are you, Cecilia?
I'm good. Sorry.
Good. Oh, no worries. No worries. I just know that I sent the invitation and everything out not very long ago, so I wasn't even certain if you had gotten it or not. Right. So thank you all for joining me again. Today we're going to go over some basic website marketing. My thought is that it should probably only take about an hour. I did have a request from Carlos when I met with him the other day, and I think it's a great idea. I'm going to put together a folder with the materials that we have covered thus far. So the actual presentation, but then like some of the documents that I linked to and things like that. So you'll have the ability to kind of look back on it if you want to review it. Some people are really great at like learning via audio, and some people are more hands-on and want to like actually click through and read each line of the documents and things like that. So I'm going to create that. I have it on my agenda. My plan was to have it done by today, but I have it on my agenda for today to get that done for you as well. Before I start today's training, does anybody have any questions about the stuff we've covered so far as the induction, the company overview training, or the processes training?
Nope.
No? Okay. So we are working on all of the training, as you know, like we've restructured it entirely, which means that you guys are like on the first run of it. I would love some feedback. So I have my own feedback about the training on the processes that we went through, and adding more of a visual view of the process, like each of the phases and what leads to the next one. So, maybe like flow chart style or something along those lines. But do you guys have any feedback about how that would have been a more effective training for you? What worked well, what didn't work well? Because we want to keep tweaking it and getting it better as we continue to do it.
Well, maybe I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
First one, maybe being able to get just saying, right? Like we get our contracts and our NDAs, we sign them, and then we start training so that you can share documents probably before the conference, so that we can review and then come up with questions, and then maybe can be more valuable for everybody.
Okay. All right. I think that is a good idea.
And then the other one, I forgot. Sorry.
That's okay. If it pops up, let me know.
Yeah.
So, does anybody else have anything?
No, I think it was pretty good.
Okay.
And like maybe the slide sharing is one of the good things which you will be doing through the Google Docs. It can be like, first the slides are shared and then it is explained, and it's maybe more time saving, I guess, but it's not necessarily. I think it was pretty good.
Okay. I do know, and I'm very aware that like the presentation itself was pretty bland looking, and so that's also part of what I want to improve. Like and that was we wanted to make sure we got all the information structured before we went into making it look pretty. Did the flow of the processes, did that help? Did it make sense? Did it give you a good overview?
Yeah. Technically, it was good.
Okay.
About the design of the presentation, I would say, there is the room for improvement.
Yes, there's a good amount of room for improvement. That's a nice way to put it.
For real? I thought it was okay.
A video presentation as well.
Okay. I thought the design was okay and the content was okay. Interesting.
Okay. I just feel like the design was very bland. Not that it was clean and it was, but I feel like, I could link to things more, have some actual design built in. I'm not talking about necessarily like clip art sort of stuff in there, but making sure that it's got some maybe more visual pieces to it. So, okay. Thank you for that feedback. And if you think of anything, or even if you have something in your head right now, but you don't want to share it this way, you can always reach out to me via email or I don't know if Michelle has set up your Slack accounts already, but your Slack accounts, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you can reach out anytime. I'm going to start our next module in the interest of respecting everybody's time. And just so everybody knows, I am going to record this so that I can go back and kind of review on it.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Okay, so now we're recording. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, does everybody see my screen?
Not now.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Nope.
It just says Website Marketing 101.
I see nothing. I see Zoom.
You see Zoom still, huh?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to go over just a tiny introduction to digital marketing. I know you're all a little familiar with digital marketing. Some of you are very familiar with digital marketing. What I'm mostly going to focus on is websites, because again, that's the main project when people are initially walking in the door. So as new project managers, those are the types of projects you're going to be handling at first. And also because it really is like the core of what brings so many people to us. So not everybody knows like, oh, I need to improve my, my search engine marketing, or I need to improve my, I need to set up a pay-per-click campaign. Not everybody's aware of that. Most clients, however, are aware of like, oh, our website is outdated, or people have made comments about it not being very user-friendly, or oh, I actually have never liked this website to start with. We just needed something up, so now it's time to improve it. So most clients are really aware of like, oh, the website needs to be better than it is. So that's something that brings a lot of people in the door. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot I had a quick note to touch base with you guys about. Specifically you, not for this training, all in general, but one of the things that I didn't cover and that we're still refining is our bonuses and our levels of project managers. And so for, just so you guys know, there's that flat fee for completing a project. It's based on assuming that it can get done in a certain amount of hours. If you are able to complete your project before the deadline, we are setting up a bonus structure for that. So for example, a 5-page website, generally speaking, we set a 6-week deadline. If you guys are able to finish it in 4 or 5 weeks, there's going to be a bonus on your end in addition to that flat fee that you get for it. So, and I always tell people, and it sounds like a silly way to say it, but we are also, we're paying you a flat fee. So the more efficient you are at getting it done, the better you're getting paid, right? So, but also if you're able to finish it quicker, we will add a bonus on. So we're still working on that structure, but I want you to know, so for example, if I give you a website tomorrow and it's due, the 25th of October, and you get it live by the 17th of October, in addition to the payment, you'll get the bonus as well. And then the levels of...
But wait, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you. Taking in consideration that getting a website live depends on resources, does that mean that us as project managers are being able to leverage your, let's say, full-time engineers so that we can, have a better chance of success?
Yes. So, I say this, and I suppose it's a generalization, but I find it to be true in 95% of the cases. The holdup on getting a website done is almost never on the design or the development side. It's almost always on the working with the client to get the information side. So yes, as soon as you are ready to get a website to design, you will have access to the designer. The designers and developers that we have working on our team are very they're efficient. So for example, one of the websites we're working on right now, the woman who's working on it, her name is Helena. I send her all the information over, and I say, can we have a homepage mock-up based on all this information? She reviews it, lets you know if she has any questions, but usually in like 2 days we have a homepage mock-up, unless there's some sort of reason. But the getting the project done should not ever be held up by the internal team. It's often held up by the client, canceling meetings, not getting the information they said that they were going to get to you, changing their mind about things. So it's really the structuring, the organization, and the management of the client that will help you hit that deadline.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and I actually, when I'm acting as a project manager on a project, I'll tell the client, like, the design and the development, that's the easy part. Like, that's nothing compared to
Scoping.
Gathering everything and organizing everything. And they aren't playing an active role in it, right? It's you and the designer and the developer. And then we turn it over to them. Like, we're like, oh, hey, here's our refined, homepage design. What do you think about it? Let's review it. Let's talk about the functionality of it, which we'll get into a little bit today.
Yeah. Do they pay an upfront fee when people approach Ataria and they want to get done a website? They pay like an upfront fee?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand and or hear.
So like account managers are the one closing deals, right?
Yes.
Okay, so an account manager will request an upfront fee from the customer when they close a deal?
Yeah, so the account manager will create that contract as to what the client is paying. For some people, it's upfront, a flat fee. For some people, it's a monthly payment spread out over a year or 2 years, depending on their needs and the cost of the website.
Okay.
So, and the account managers do get paid based on their a percentage. I don't know all of the details. That's a great question for Mitch, but they get paid on a percentage of the product they're selling.
100% makes sense. And like, the reason I ask is because I think that's a strong reason for us to know how interested the client would be to answer our questions, because the faster we are as to getting things done, the faster they will need to pay the other half. Or, and sometimes, on my experience at least, some clients kind of wanna wait, kind of wanna. So just curious.
So structurally, we almost never do. In fact, I can't think of an example. Mitch might think of one off the top of his head. We never do you pay 50% now and you pay 50% later.
Oh, okay.
It's almost always you pay up front, or like, okay, could they prefer that because that's what the client wants, or it's broken down into monthly installments.
Okay.
So there isn't necessarily a big payday that they're holding off on. I understand what you're saying, though.
That's cool, though. If they can pay for everything, then
so we want our clients. We want our clients to be very motivated to get the project done quickly, and something like that might actually motivate them to slow down a little bit.
Exactly. That happened to me a lot of times, but I'll shut up. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you. I like the feedback and the thoughts on that. Yeah. As far as levels go, we also were implementing, we've been restructuring a ton because we've grown and we've needed to restructure, and it's been great. But we're implementing the idea of levels of project managers. So what that means is, someone comes in and they're brand new. They're like, and I'm going to use the term entry-level project manager. They're going to get the more basic projects, and they're going to get paid a certain rate for those types of projects. As you gain experience within our company, and based on experience you have outside of the company as well, and then the ability for you to, we've watched you work through several projects, you're closing them on time, you're working well with the client, all of that thing, we can move you up a level as a project manager. We're working on a system for that, but it's going to be based like on colors. So let's just say, there's red, there's blue, there's green.
Sweet.
That sort of thing. You move up a level, and when you move up a level, the expectations are increased because now you've got this, right? You've ironed out all the kinks and you can manage those really simple projects. So now maybe you're handling something slightly more complex, or you're handling more projects than you were. There's also a different rate. So there's a rate increase once you get to the point where you can kind of, you have found your footing, you have proved yourself, and then you have, and again, we're working on all of the different ways to measure that for you. And then we move you up a level. And then as we do that, there's 4 levels that we've talked about so far. So the projects get more complex. And at the very top of that scale is like a senior project manager who's working on the most complex, who's working with possibly a whole team of project managers under him. And they're able to recruit the resources that are needed for the project. And so it works its kind of way up from the very beginning entry level sorts of tasks all the way up. So our goal is to train you and equip you to be able to move up those levels so that you can be making more money and so you can be handling more complex projects, which in my experience is satisfying, right? To be able to continue to grow your skill set and your ability to do that.
100%. And one question regarding that, is it possible to be part of, let's say, scoping phases with account managers? So we know on like beforehand what kind of the client is looking for, or for, let's say, entry project managers, we just get some sort of like scoped out doc and like a timeline. How does that process looks like?
Yeah. Yep. So, well, there is a handoff phase between the sales team and the account managers where all of that gets covered. So you're not just getting a document, you are getting a document that does get created. It's a statement of work document. But you're also sitting down with the account manager and saying, okay, what did you discuss with this client? Why do they want to do a new website? What are their goals of this website? Do they have A, B, and C already, or do they still need those things? Like, are they, so you're able to sit down and have that conversation where it gets handed off.
Got it.
So that you can really, and a huge part of that, and I think I touched on this just a little bit in our last meeting, a huge part of that is like even personality stuff, right? Like, is this the type of client that I have to really stay on top of? Are they really responsive? Are they very serious? They don't want to joke around, or are they like, like all of those things that, will change the way you manage that project.
Yep.
So, yeah, so you will be working with the account manager. It is at the point where the sale is already closed, but like immediately after the sale.
Yep. Awesome.
Okay. Anything else on bonuses and levels?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. So as an introduction to website marketing, we're going to very briefly touch on what is digital marketing, why digital marketing, which I'm sure you guys understand, but it's always good to have for our clients. The different channels of digital marketing, and then websites in particular, which is what we're going to focus on. Again, those are going to be the projects you're going to be starting with for the most part. Okay. I skipped over one now. Okay. What is digital marketing? So digital marketing is also known as online marketing, and it's really just a broad term for the marketing that takes place through online media channels. Back in the day, in the history of marketing and advertising, at one point in time, people used to just take out ads in newspapers or magazines, and then it became like commercials on radio shows or TV shows, and we're just marketing and advertising evolves with the technology. And right now our technology is online. The basic role is to help our clients get found, get noticed, get leads, and then turn those leads into customers. The ultimate goal of every business is to establish customers and make sales, right? Whatever that may be. It might be selling. One of our clients is a not-for-profit organization, and the goal of his website is actually to like sell people on his mission so that they donate and support his mission, right? So the goal is always to get people committed to, connected to. And then everything revolves around the client's goal. We'll talk about that a good amount when we get into the website part of everything that we plan as far as website design and development is based on what we want that website to be accomplishing. Okay. So why digital marketing? I know you guys all know this, but I'm going to go over it very briefly. So consumers are connected to the internet all of the time, right? Their mobile devices are usually the first thing they look at in the morning and the last thing they look at night. It is just in front of their faces all day, every day. The average US consumer is exposed to 10,000 brand messages a day, which is overwhelming. There are some really big ones that you can think of that everybody knows, like Coca-Cola, and then there are smaller ones that are more specific niche targets, like Excello, even like they're trying to market to companies for project management. 92% of consumers look at a company's website when choosing a service provider or product. This is actually, I feel like this is low. I feel like almost everybody does that, but that's okay. At any given time, 84% of Americans are shopping for something. And in the economy that we're in right now, more and more that is online. And I'll just use an example right now. We have a birthday party this weekend for a little girl in our world. And I literally just went onto Amazon and I was like, oh, I need a gift really quick, right? Just in the middle of my day, I was like, oh, do you know what I can do really quick? I can get that out of the way. So more and more people are doing that online. 97% of people go online to find products and services. 93% begin with a search engine. That doesn't necessarily mean they're searching broad terms. Sometimes they go to a search engine and they type in the website they're looking for. 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as they trust personal recommendations. And I'd like to add, there's always really specific reviews. So if I am looking for a new vacuum cleaner, I'm probably might get an opinion from a friend or two, but then I go online and I look up and there's like thousands of reviews on that particular type of vacuum cleaner that I might be looking at. So people have a whole lot more to find online than they do from personal recommendations. 86% of people look up location of a business on Google Maps. So the basic concept is that our clients' target market is online right now, whoever our clients are. And it used to be very limited. There used to be a very specific group of people who were online, right? And now it's everybody. My grandma goes online, right? So it has definitely changed in time. Some of the digital marketing channels, this is not an exhaustive list, is your website, obviously, search engine marketing, search engine optimization, which is connected to your website, pay-per-click advertising, retargeting or remarketing, depending on what term you want to use, marketing automation. So for example, once somebody signs up for something on your website, they get a free downloadable or whatever, and then we create an automated email system that sends to them maybe an email right after they downloaded it, and then an email 2 days later, and then another one 3 days later, or whatever the case may be, to try to continue to market products and services to them. Social media marketing, video marketing, and reputation management. I'm going to just be super brief about this. So search engine marketing and search engine optimization, these are things like, as project managers, these are things that we just kind of need to know they exist. We don't need to know the details or the nitty gritty of them. In fact, when they come up in conversation, it's not our job to answer those questions. It's our job to get them to the people on our team, in our marketing team, and our service management team, who do know how to handle those questions. So, oh yeah, search engine optimization is really important. We're definitely working on that with your website. Let me get in touch with Alvin. He and one of the search engine specialists that we have on our team will get in touch with you and answer any of your specific questions. So yes, it's important. Yes, we do it. And here's the person who can help you with that. So we almost always have some basic search engine optimization built into our clients' website packages. And so it's usually like search engine setup, but there are over 200 points that search engines look for when they're scanning a website to decide where they get ranked in the search results. And so it is not our job to know those 200 points. The ones that are important to us as project managers are like basic content. We want to make sure we're using the right keywords. the designer will do things like optimize the photos so they load quickly, put alternative text on the photos, which is something search engines look for. So those things are all kind of going on behind the scenes. What's most important for us is the idea of having content that search engines are going to like. And the big part of that is what keywords are we wanting to rank for? If I sell vacuum cleaners, sorry, it's just what's in my head right now. So if I sell vacuum cleaners, I want to make sure I'm using, at a local store, I want to make sure I'm using words like vacuum cleaners, vacuum cleaner repair, vacuum cleaner parts, vacuum cleaner, and then whatever area I'm in. So, Buffalo, New York, and all of those things. I want to make sure those words are on there because that's going to help search engines identify where I belong when somebody's searching things like vacuum cleaner repair in Buffalo, New York. Mm-hmm. And so that's important. If somebody is having a blog built into their website, it is a great way to continue to create good content. And it's not for everybody, and it's not even appropriate for every business, but for a lot of people, okay, if you have a blog written, and here's how we're going to make sure that those blogs contain the right types of content, the right types of words for it. So we're kind of trying to say, yes, this is important. We need to make sure we look at this. Our service management team is the team who's going to help make that happen for you.
Okay.
And the same thing happens with paid per click advertising, search engine marketing, which is like, placing ads on search engines. When you first search something on Google, the first 3 things say ad next to it. That's that. It's, you're paying to be at the top of the list as opposed to having search engines identify you as being at the top of the list. We'll build marketing automation for folks. Social media marketing is after the website. We can't market anything if we don't have it. Video marketing, we will help somebody put together videos either for their website or for ads that they're going to be placing for their social media feeds, things like that. And then reputation management. Reputation management pretty much is a service where we look at all of the different places where your company might be online. So, Google My Business. My mind is pulling a blank with all of those sites that you go to kind of get reviews of businesses right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like all of those different Yelp sites like that, and whenever Facebook, when they're leaving feedback, things like that, all of those things need to be handled, right? So somebody's writing great reviews, awesome, thank them for them. Somebody's writing horrible reviews, let's try to fix that. That's an opportunity to get better, right? Like how do we address that problem so that customer remains a customer, so that we navigate that situation well. So we have services where people are monitoring that for you, knowing that, this review was written, this is how we responded to it, that sort of thing.
Cool. And like, who are these people? What's this team like? Reputation.
So part of our service management team works on that. So the service management team is who we are as project managers handing the client off to. And I kind of like to think of it as like, we're the introduction, we're where you are when you're stepping into the door, like we're the foyer in the house. And then we have all these different rooms where the service management team will work on your social media management or your reputation management or things like that.
Whoa.
And we'd actually, I'd like to, in the near future, have just a meeting to introduce all of the members of all of the teams to each other.
Mm-hmm. So what's the service? What's the name again? The team?
The service management team.
Service management. That's so cool. So like you're selling pretty much everything from, website to whole social media support and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So with digital marketing, a website is great, but and a little ongoing, right? There's always evolutions, changing, updating, things like that. There's always updates on the back end. Google is always changing its analytics on us, things like that. Mm-hmm. So there's always ongoing work. The ongoing work is for the service managers. We get the project done, we hand it off to the service managers, and the service managers are on a regular basis in contact with the clients, touching base. Are there other services that they need in order to expand their business? What are the results that they're getting from the services they already have? So they're kind of like the follow-up team. And we do like a tag team thing where we're like, hey, the website is up. I'm glad you love it. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Let me introduce you to Christian. He's going to be your service manager. And then, Christian takes it over from there.
That's so cool. It's the first time I learned about service managers, and I love it.
Oh yeah, they're super vital.
Of course.
Because otherwise the project will never end, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll create a website and there'll be something that needs to be changed and they call us back. And then, they need an update to, they have an event going on. So they need a banner created for that. And then, like their Google ranking dropped and they want to know why that is. And we have to look back at the algorithm. Like otherwise we would never finish handing off a project.
Plus, I mean, part of keeping a healthy company is those long-term contracts. So I'm assuming, coming from finishing the website to a more like a maintenance kind of contract.
Yes.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Okay. So we're going to talk about websites probably for the majority of this meeting because that's where we're starting at. Just basically, a website is the most important marketing assets for our clients today. Most of our clients understand that. Sometimes we have to sell them on it, but most of them are like, oh yeah, like everybody's online right now. 75% of people have judged a company's credibility based on its website design. So they looked at their website and they're like, oh my goodness, no, like this is not a professional company, right?
True that.
So I know I've done that. And I'm going to show you some websites that in a little bit, and it'll be like, oh my goodness, I would never do business with that company. Like they don't have their stuff together.
Could I ask you a question? It's, I think, related to the past topic.
Sure.
Cool. So as project managers, collaborating with the clients and account managers, is it possible for us to, let's say, in the middle of building a website, we come up with a few ideas that can bring value into their website? Could we, and let's say we also have a very trustworthy relationship with the customer, could we bring to the table some sort of a upsell kind of deal? Is that a possibility?
Oh yeah. Like so like, for example, we're working on the website and they want to integrate their social media feed, and you look at their social media feed and you think, oh, they really need to improve this. We can sell them on social media management.
Nope. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would bring in the team on that, but you could absolutely, and I know I connected you with Mitch. I don't know if you guys had a chance to connect at all, but there's definitely room for you to upsell and be compensated for that.
Of course. And I apologize to everybody if I talk a lot. I just want to make sure I really understand what we're doing.
Yeah, that is definitely, I don't mind at all. And I hope nobody else does, because I think when people are bringing up things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of, one, it helps me to improve, to make sure we're covering that sort of stuff. But it's also like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that before. It's good to learn and know about, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
it keeps the presentation interesting. So.
True that.
It is. It's more conversational that way for sure.
There's some energy, because the previous one was, I felt like I was in college, and I don't like that. So I'd rather, make it a bit more interesting.
I will try not to be college
professor.
No,
it's not. No, that's not what he meant. I promise. Yes, that's not
that.
What he meant at all. I was just like, I was just trying to be nice.
I was just joking. I'm not offended.
Okay, cool.
So the basics of a website, to make a website work, it has to be fast. It has to be secure. And nowadays, like if you're on Google Chrome and you go to a site that's not secure, it's going to tell you, it's like going to pop up a warning, right? It has to be mobile optimized. I don't remember the percentage. I wish I put it in here, but something like 70-something% of online searching is done on a mobile device now. So it's really a ton. Ease of navigation, obviously. Oops, sorry. And then SEO optimization. Again, this is stuff that gets done on the back end. The developer works on this, designer works on this, ultimately the service management team works on it. I think the biggest piece for us to keep in mind is that the ease of navigation piece of it is part of what we need to make sure we're building in from the get-go. So there are so many different types of websites. And a website is an extension of a company. So we want our clients' websites to properly represent their company. So whether they're selling a product, offering a service, raising awareness. So the type of website that we're going to use, the type of website that's going to get sold to them is going to be based on that, based on their company, based on the goals of their company, based on what they want the website to accomplish. So these are just kind of some of the basics, but definitely, again, not exhaustive. There are single page websites called landing pages. Landing pages are usually specific to a product or a service, and they're simple. It's just an idea of like, here is this product that we're trying to sell. And so it's not always about the entire company. You probably see these advertised a lot on social media. I'm just going to use weight loss as an example because there's a gazillion of them out there. But, like a weight loss product might be on social media. And when you click over, it's only about that weight loss product. It's not about the company that made it. It's not about all the different products in their line. In fact, you can't even find those on their site. That's the landing page. An alternative of that, or a step up from that, is your basic 3-page site, which is a funnel design. And the funnel is the product page, the purchase page, and the thank you page. So throughout the entire product page, I am trying to sell you. That is its sole purpose on whatever this product or service is. A 5-page site is our standard package. It can be information, or it can be informational, or it can be sales oriented, depending again on the business. An e-commerce site is designed to sell products, often based on 5 pages with our model as well, but doesn't have to be. And then member sites. So sites that have a back-end portal where clients are going to log on. So for example, maybe I offer an e-course, and you're going to purchase the e-course and you're going to log into my website, and that's where you'll access all of the material that I've provided for the e-course. The type of site we design is based on the goal of the client. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to sell a product? Are you trying to sell lots of products? Are you trying to sell a service? Ultimately, again, sales of some sort is the goal at the end of almost every website. So functionality and design. Design is important. We want our websites to look great, but functionality is so much more important. And so a lot of times people will design beautiful websites that don't navigate well, that don't accomplish the goal that the client is actually looking for. And it can look great all of the time, but if it doesn't have that functionality built in, it doesn't work. So when we're, as project managers, when we're working on a site, we always want to think of, does this get us to the goal? Does this piece of functionality get us to the goal? Is it easy for me, if I come on this website brand new, is it easy for me to find what I want, to get what I need out of this website? So I'm going to show you a few bad websites because I think they're always funny to look at. So I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Hunger Games, but the author is Suzanne Collins. So pretty big author, right? Like the Hunger Games turned into movies, very successful author. This is her website. If you scroll down,
that's funny.
It's just, it looks like a high schooler who's just learning how to make sites jumps in. There's like all these chunks of white space. I'm still scrolling. You guys are curious.
Crazy.
And then there's more. And then there's more white space. and there's
Wow.
more. And you don't even know. So there are things that you can click on, like I can click on this, but you don't even know that you should because it just looks like you don't know what it's doing over there.
Yeah.
It starts with the like, thanks for visiting my website, which is like my least favorite text in all of the world.
Thanks for visiting my website.
So yeah, so there's that one. Let's see.
Did you already send her something like, hey, hi?
You know what? After having looked up a couple of these, I always enjoy looking up the bad websites. We should reach out to her because this is not an okay website to have as a renowned author. So this is actually, I think it's Norwegian, and I just found it today.
No.
What's really interesting about this, so we're not just talking about design. Again, remember, we're talking about functionality. I can actually come up to their search bar and type in something that is right here. It's right over here. And I will get no results. So,
wow.
So it's not only cluttered and chaotic and unclear of how to navigate, it is also
not
functional. So yeah. So that's a good one too. I just get overwhelmed by this one.
I think it's kind of a joke. I would say this is a joke.
It would look like a joke, but it is an up and functional website. You can actually buy these things.
Yeah.
And then here's one that has, I like this one because it's kind of a middle of the road. The design is obviously not great. Like having this block of text right in front of these kids' faces as we scroll on. Like the colors are a little bit interesting together. It's also just not easy to function. So these, these images that you can't read the text on because it's too small.
Mm-hmm.
I like their feeds down here. But there is, when I go to like this page, so they sell juice that's concentrated pretty much is the idea. And the concept I think is mostly that they're targeting like childcare, daycare sort of settings. Like, oh, if you're feeding a whole lot of kids, this is a great way to do it. So you mix together the concentrate. You go there. So now I'm on this page that offers me no more information than the other page, but I also have to click through to the order now page, which is my favorite page because it's, so call, email, or place your order in the form below. So you fill out this form and then you submit it.
The layout is so bad.
Yes, the layout is really bad. And so I'm pretty confident that these are like stock photos. So they're not even necessarily, and I'm not against stock photos in some purposes, don't get me wrong, but this isn't even like a photo of their actual product. So if you're selling a product, you want the photo to be of your product, right?
Yep.
So so the functionality, like how do I order? Why does it take me that long to get to the place where I'm ordering? That's all things that are going to discourage buyers. So here's a few good ones. Paper is an app, and their website design itself is clean. It's interactive, right? Like, check this out. This is great. You know, I can go on here and they'll demonstrate the different things. Yeah. So well done. Has just the right amount of information. I'm not being overwhelmed with too much information. It talks about their different functionality. I get like a little sentence or two about it, right? Like I'm not going crazy with it. And then here's our action, right? We want to download this app. So it's very simple. It's very clean. If I were looking for this type of service, I could get on here and I could immediately get what I want to get. And that's important. We'll give that one maybe a B for the loading speed. But so work stack, again, very clear. here's the homepage. We'll scroll down it. I can try a 14-day free trial. My call to action is right there. What are the features? What are the costs? How do I get a hold of people? So I just kind of can scroll down. There's a video introducing everything about this service. It's like a team planning sort of thing with shared calendars and things like that. So, and projects. And so it tells me all of the different features that are in here. Again, I'm not being inundated with information. I'm getting just enough information. Another call to action. The contact is easy to get to and easy to fill out. So just a very quick thing. They're not asking me for 8 million different things. Their pricing is clear, so I don't have to wonder about it. A lot of times companies, especially companies that have higher end products, they think they shouldn't put their pricing out there on the website. People are more likely to follow up. I mean, sometimes things are way out of people's price range, and it's okay that maybe isn't your target market, right? That's not who you're trying to reach. But to not have your pricing on your website indicates that I have to follow up without having the information that as a client, what I might need, right? So, and a lot of times people will be like, oh, I can't figure out how much this program costs, so I'm just going to look into another one. Okay. So there's a lot of psychology behind website design. And then boosted boards. Sorry, the Skype box keeps popping up on me, so, or the Zoom box, sorry. Okay. So this is a scooter / skateboard company. And the reason I pulled this one up is the functionality is very easy. I can shop now. If I want a scooter, if I want a skateboard, everything's very easy and clear to get to. But also it is focused at a younger target market, and it has the interactivity / constant movement that a younger target is going to want. They're going to be drawn to. This is what they're used to, right? Little pop-up. I'm a fan of pop-ups offering some way, because you want to try to capture people's email, right? And then here it is. Like, here are our products. And just very quick, very easy. Get all the information you need. So look, there's a better way to commute. We can buy a scooter and we don't need cars. I'm just kidding. But, you know, again, the information, they're attracting their target market. Everything's designed cleanly. Their colors are pulled through really nice. So we've got nice design. We also have a good functionality of a website. So just got to close this one so that I don't start twitching. Okay. Probably that one too, but that's okay. So if you can, I mean, you can see the difference in how the sites look, obviously. Some of them are even very like abrasive to look at. The color scheme, for example, in that juice, like that turquoise, which is almost like a hyperlink sort of turquoise color, was really harsh compared to the photo that was with it. Like, it didn't go with itself. So there's design stuff, but then also it's really hard for me to order off of their website. I don't even know what makes their drink better than their competitors' drink. Like, they just missed a lot of really important points there. So functionality was bad and design was bad. And sometimes, and I don't have any examples pulled up right here, sometimes the design is great, it looks beautiful, and the functionality is not there. And it might as well be ugly because people will give up. Okay, so when we're talking about website functionality, specifically as project managers, the question we need to constantly be asking as we're making decisions, as we're helping to create the website document and lay that all out, is what is the goal of the website? And that's what we just need to ask over and over and over again. So if it varies, that means that the appropriate content and functionality will vary as well. So who is our target market? And what are the products and services. That allows us to design the site functionality as well, that presents the product and service in a way that allows the target market to find what they need. If I were selling denture glue to people, I would not use the same layout that website with the skateboards was using. That would not be great for senior citizens, right? I wouldn't design it that way. So user-friendly, keep in mind that depends on the user. So a 14-year-old is going to love the website with the skateboards that have like the sliding videos and the constant interactivity. If it were for senior citizens, they would get overwhelmed. They wouldn't know where to click. It would be too much for them. We have to keep in mind who we're designing for. Also, we are not designing the site for the client. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but like a lot of times clients are like, well, no, when I'm on a website, I like this. It's like, well, yes, but you're not a 70-year-old who we're designing the site for to sell this product to, right? So it really is, who is the target market? What are we trying to get the target market to do on the website? Is our goal to sell them a product? Is our goal to educate them about a product? Is our goal to get them to sign up for our email list so that we can sell products from there? What is it that we want them to do, and how do we make that easy for that type of client? This takes sometimes on our part a little bit of research. Very often the sales team will have a good idea of this already. They'll know who the target market is, and they will have done some work on what is some good functionality for that. So when we're working with a client, we need to assess the goal of the website and the purpose of each piece of content that goes into the goal. This is an area that we are constantly working and guiding our client through. We are the marketing experts. You guys, and if this is the first time you've ever talked about marketing, which I'm certain for you guys it's not, but for some people, some of the project managers we've brought on in the past, they don't have marketing experience per se, but they have project management experience. And so they come and out, you still know more than the client does about marketing almost all of the time. They know their product, they know their service. They don't necessarily know, why certain pieces of content are put somewhere or not put somewhere. A lot of people, especially companies that are smaller companies or family-run companies, they want the site to be all about their company, but the reality is we need their website to be all about their customer. And it doesn't mean we don't have any information about that, but it means we don't have like a 5-page story of the history of the company. That's not going to get them to do what we want them to do. It's not bad information. We like your company. I think that's great. Your story is great. But that isn't, if we put that on your homepage, your client's never going to get to where we want them to get. So one of the case studies I want to use is one of the websites we just recently built, Backyard Play Store. The target market on this particular client, so he is starting with bounce houses but ultimately working to sell outdoor play equipment. His target market is moms with young kids. And so the photos that we chose, the logo that we created are focused on kids and happiness, right? Like that's why a mom would be looking into buying a bounce house. Like, oh, my kids are going to love it, right? So lots of happy smiling, lots of bright colors, kids of all different ages and stages in there. So like making it easy to get to the products. So very top of the page, products is right here. I can hit the shop now button. Sometimes you'll hear the term above the fold. So when you first go to a website, above the fold means everything you see before you start scrolling. And above the fold is actually kind of a newspaper term, if you would open the newspaper up. So if you think of it that way, the call to action, the buttons are right there. You don't even need to scroll to be able to get to the products you want to. There's divvying up so that it can be easy to find what you're looking for. So there's these different categories that will help narrow things down for you so you don't have to look through absolutely everything on the site. There's information about the process that helps educate them so they know what to expect. And then there's also in each different spot, there's all these buttons. So, you're clicking on a product. Right within the product, there aren't reviews on this particular one yet, because again, this is a brand new site. But we've got our processes, the reviews right there. I can add it to cart right there. Everything, I can add it to the wish list, so that I can maybe compare products or things like that. So making it easy to purchase was the goal of this website. So keeping that layout simple, again, allowing the user to reach specific groups of products instead of just having everything right there. And then the need to know information is available very quickly. On this particular one, we actually did, the client wanted to create a blog. And so as far as content goes, the blog was created to provide information that's very shareable for moms. So like bounce house cleaning tips, or choosing the right playground equipment. There's a startup guide. There's one that he was working on. I don't know if it's maybe not done yet, about safety, like playground yard equipment safety, things that moms who are looking for these items would be interested in reading. Like, oh, yeah, I do want to buy a bounce house. I didn't even think about how I'm going to clean it. Let me read about that information. So, and he did that to help with search engine optimization as well, but also for that social media marketing, so you can share that information on social media, reach people, and then moms might share it with their mom groups and things like that. Okay, so I talked a little bit about content right there, but content is a way to communicate with the target market about the products and services being offered. Content should be curated based on the goals of the site and the identified target market. Again, those blog posts were things that moms who have young kids who might have a bounce house or want to buy a bounce house would benefit from. That would be good knowledge for them. Okay. Here again, we're guiding the client, just like we're guiding the client with the functionality of the website. We're guiding the client with the content of the website. Do you need your whole story on the website? No. One of my favorite ways to word this is, well, why do you want that there? What do you want to accomplish with that? Because they're not thinking necessarily about what they want to accomplish with the client on the site. They might be thinking about like, oh, well, we've always had our family story on the website, and it's always been on the homepage. But now the question is, well, does this help us get to your goal? So your goal is to get them to shop or to buy this item or to fill out a form. Does having that information there do that? Again, it doesn't mean we don't have information like that on the site, but we want to make sure that we are getting rid of the excess. We're making things easy to navigate and clean. And the question always comes back to why. Why are we creating this website? What is the goal of it? And if the content supports the why, then we can put that content there. And if the content doesn't support the why, it's getting in the way. So if the why of the website is to get somebody to buy a membership to your gym, we don't need the about us stuff in the way of that. We want to make sure that they have options and opportunities throughout those pages to click on buttons, to have the call to actions, to contact if they have questions. We want everything about the site to help point them to, I should join this gym. So questions to ask: what are the benefits of the product and service to the user? Why is my gym better than this other gym over here? Not necessarily naming that other gym, but what's great about my gym? How does a site engage or connect with the user? If it's about a weight loss product, do we have success stories on there where they can look and say like, oh my goodness, like that's where I want to be, or oh yeah, I feel like the person in the before photo. And then how do they access whatever's being offered? We want them to be able to access it often, and we want them to access it easily. Okay. So again, the website is designed around the functionality. So functionality first, design second. design does follow trends and does need to be updated over time. So websites are constantly evolving. So I brought up, I loved this one, but what do you think of a website that was built in 2002? And I'm pulling up eBay's 2002 website. And I don't think eBay even today is like the greatest, but like if you look at what this website looks like right now, and if we had a new client who came in and this is what their website looked like when we designed it for them, that would be horrible, right? But back in 2002, this was like top of the line. What? You can buy everything here? So the design has changed over time. Technology has changed over time. How people interact with websites has changed over time. So we expect that to happen with websites. And so it's important that, well, the functionality might need to change based on the goals of the website as well. The design might need to be changed over time as well. So if somebody comes to us with a website that's a couple of years old, and let's just say it's 10 years old so that we know it's dated enough that it's obvious, they might have nostalgic feelings towards their current website. They might have actually done a lot of the work on it themselves or like been really involved in the design. They personally might think certain colors are attractive, or they may even think that their personal preferences would make a good website. And this isn't always true. It sometimes is true. Sometimes they have that right. So again, we're guiding the clients with design. We use solid marketing strategies. We base it on the current technology, things like color psychology. I will share with you guys a document or two about this, but if you just Google psychology of color, you'll find some information on it there. And it's very enlightening. And it's not necessarily a black and white guide to, yes, use this color, no, don't use this color, but understanding that when people look at certain colors, it evokes certain emotion, and we want that to make sure that that's in line with the goal of our website. And then we also base our marketing strategies on the target market. Again, if our goal is to reach teenagers, it's going to be very different than reaching moms who want to buy bounce houses. They're just very different target markets, and they interact differently. And they like different things. Okay. I mentioned this earlier, but it's good to review. All of the other services that I talked about earlier, you're not going to be managing those things. Those are just things that you can suggest the services. You can even upsell them on some of them if you feel that it's an appropriate fit. And then we connect them to the service management team, the specialists who handle search engine optimization, social media marketing, all of that stuff. You don't need to know the details. You just need to know that they exist and that, yes, we can help them with them. Okay. Any questions, everyone?
Mm-mm.
No?
Nope.
Was there anything that maybe I didn't touch base about website design and functionality that you wanted to talk about?
Maybe use cases from Ataria Media, like successful projects that you delivered. So give us.
Okay. So the Backyard Play Store one that I shared was actually one of our websites that we just finished recently. And that's an e-commerce website, obviously. Mm-hmm. So that was a design. That was from scratch. She didn't have a website yet. This is a new company. We have redesigned. We have redesigned some, and I'm wondering if I have. So one that we recently redesigned for a product, it's called findingerotica.com, and it's not as risque as you think it is, but but their old site used to be. So they have a couple erotic fiction books, but they're also very interested in reaching and educating older adults about their sexuality. So I think it's 40 and up without looking at my documentation. The author himself had experienced serious illness that impacted his sexuality. And so really he went through a lot of healing through that process, and he wants to share that. Their old website was very clunky to navigate. the content on it was, I don't have it. I think we had asked the designer to take some pictures of it. I just don't know if we have them right now. I'll have to look for them for you. But like the images were, instead of being very sensual and but mature, they were very almost pornographic in their images. And so we worked with them. We helped with rebranding altogether. Based on their target market. They're done right at the top of the page here. We have some photos, and they're tool photos. They're sexy without being sleuthing way toward it.